the idea of going in and actually just cutting to the chase, stripping out the economics and just telling the gag, it is very, very scary. Actually, very scary indeed. And I know the three others, Libby Purvis and Peter White and Laurie Taylor, they all found it absolutely terrifying. Even though accomplished broadcasters they are, it is terrifying. It's a big, big leap between being a kind of a faintly amusing, sometimes interesting, engaging person, and being a laugh-out-loud performer in front of a live audience. Well, no question.
That's an interesting thing about stand-up, because I think there's a lot of people who are the funny guy in the pub, who make their friends laugh, who will, you know, make a witty aside, who will tell an amusing anecdote, and they think, yeah, I could have a go at stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
But it is a very different skill, isn't it? It's a very, very different thing. What you know, your mentor, of course, indeed.
You know, on the Today programme, maybe one amusing quip every 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Paul Merton taught me, because he was my mentor in this thing, he taught me you're going to have a kind of a hit rate higher than that, a sort of a laugher. And he was thinking about one every 30 seconds. I don't know if I hit one every 30 seconds, but he kind of thinks, you know, you need one right there in the first 15 seconds. And you need one then kind of thereafter every 30 seconds, and then you need like sort of little middling ones along the way. It's got to be a real laugh out loud one every 30 seconds. And this is just kind of, wow, this is just, you know, unlike anything I've ever had to do. And writing, when I signed up for this darn thing, I didn't know I had to write the material. I thought.
So how did you build your act? What did you focus on?
Well, it's absolutely no coincidence, is it, Stephen, that the word comedy has me in the middle of it, and it is absolutely always one just finds oneself writing about oneself. And I mean, it's true of everybody you ever go and see. Every sentence starts with "I did this and I did that," and you just talk about yourself. So I did speak about economics. Actually, I had a few little gags, sort of economic gags, and I spoke a bit about the Today programme. Dragon's Den is a kind of absolutely natural terrain, you know, for comedy. In fact, you don't necessarily have to make it up. You just tell it, and it's So I did a little bit about, you know, presenting I do, and a bit about.
Well, Evan, at the risk of embarrassing you, I've got a few clips here.
Oh God!
I'll just play one for you now to remind you of the great night. Bear with us.
This country has this wonderful inventive tradition. We brought the antibiotic to the world, the CAT scanner, the jet engine, the hovercraft. I think I sort of see Dragon's Den as continuing that. You know, we brought you the fruit blender with broadband connection. And the one-handed glove. Which is actually very useful. It was actually to remind you which side of the road to drive on.
Now, it sounds to me like you're doing great business.
Well, I know, the problem is, it's really, well, you must know that it's seriously hard work writing the material.
Of course.
It took I think it's about a day's work to come up. What you have just played is about a day's work. I mean, it's phenomenally, because it only takes a minute to write that dud lines before you get to that one. It's just such time-consuming business.
It's incredibly labour-intensive, and it's nice that you were referring there to. Was that an actual invention that was on there?
Actually, those were actually inventions. I've slightly embellished them and exaggerated them, but Paul Merton told me that all the stuff about trust we have at the BBC, you know, and telling truth, you don't have to stick to that for the comedy act. So it was a bit exaggerated.
When you're hosting Dragon's Den and people come down from the den in order to, and you know, and you've seen presumably what they were pitching, are there times where you can barely contain your laughter? I mean, the guy with the thing to preserve cucumbers, was it? Half a cucumber?
The Q-tip. It was the condom for cucumbers.
Condom for cucumbers. You stick a thing on the end of a cucumber, because heaven forbid you need to buy a new cucumber at 12 pence. Or whatever it was.
No, I mean, actually, it's a very emotionally fraught thing, Dragon's Den, mostly when they come down. They're in a sort of punch-drunk state. It's a sort of rather extraordinary thing. And you're, as a viewer, because it's edited, you see, so I've actually watched probably 40 minutes of it, you know. Everybody, me, them, are kind of drained emotionally by the intensity of the experience.
Yes, I can imagine.
That they've been through. It's very intense, actually. A lot of them find it life-changing. And even the ones that are often kind of panned by the Dragons, they do often come out thinking this was really quite good for me. I mean, I think they do genuinely appreciate sometimes the feedback. I wouldn't want to pretend that's always the case and that everybody's a happy customer, but there are a lot of happy customers in there. Actually, it's very interesting.
Because some of them do strike me as utterly delusional. I mean, really, just nut jobs. I always think, did no one go out as that guy was leaving? Did his wife not say, "Where are you going?" "I'm just off with the cucumber condom thing." Well, don't do that. That was just. I thought you were joking, love.
There's a very fine line between insanity and genius, as you know.
suppose so.
You know, and the other thing is that even people who've got what I think are really, really bad ideas, like the one-handed glove to remind you which side of the road to drive on, which was an idea. Even though I think it's a really bad idea, and they're kind of mad in that sense, they're incredibly bright, incredibly together when it comes to things like sourcing the gloves from China, finding an agent to sort of, shop around the factories there to source it at the best price, packaging it in plastic.
You don't need to go to China for a glove. You can find one glove normally just lying on a wall somewhere, maybe near a pub.
That was one of the flaws obviously in the business.
Wow.
You didn't have to buy the one. But I mean, they're all very, very bright, these guys, and they've all got a sort of enthusiasm that sometimes distracts them because they don't see the stupidity of the idea for the fact that they're doing and executing it all so meticulously and taking the idea so seriously themselves. But actually, entrepreneurs, they are a bit, and I mean this in a nice way, they are delusional and slightly mad.
Yeah.
And that is what makes them entrepreneurs, because if they woke up in the morning and really thought about what they're doing, they probably wouldn't get out of bed and do it. And it's good for all of us that they're that little bit delusional, because one in 5 of them really comes up with something great, and then we will benefit from it.
Now, before we let you go, Evan, we need to briefly pick your brains about the economic crisis. In fact, let me just, because here's another one of your jokes which I think is particularly funny.
I spent 15 years reporting economics. 15 years as an economics reporter, and I think I can fairly say, day in, day out, reporting everything going on in the economy, not one thing happened in those 15 years. So I left in April last year.
Now, Evan, it's been a great opportunity here to pick your brains briefly. What advice should I be doing with my cash? Is it under the mattress time? I mean, what am I doing with it? Am I going to keep it in the bank?
It's not easy, is it? It's not very easy. I mean, I think at the moment I'd keep it in the bank, but I mean, you don't take it from me. I mean, there's the mattress, there's the stock market. It's not very high, the stock market, so it could easily go up. It's just that it might also go down. So the key is always to work out what your how much risk you're willing to take.
Did you predict this crisis, Evan? Did you predict it?
I predicted house prices would fall, but I had no way.
Oh, please, we all knew house prices were going to fall, for goodness sake.
It was so obvious, wasn't it? It was so obvious that... No, I predicted that. I didn't predict anything like this. In fact, in 2004, I wrote, and I'm proud of this, I don't think there's going to be a banking crisis. And I said, but I put in brackets, I literally put in brackets, I may come to regret writing this. And I'm so proud that I put those words, I may come to regret writing this, in brackets, because at least I didn't predict it, but I did at least entertain, with those words, I entertained the possibility that something might go wrong. No, I didn't predict it.
If you do get back on stage, Evan, I was reading, there's a genuine story in the paper today. It says here, would-be robbers tunnelled under a branch of the Royal Bank of Scotland, hoping to break into the safe, only to surface in an empty office block next door. Now, I haven't thought it all through yet, but I'm thinking, even if they'd broken into the RBS, there would have been nothing in there. Something to do with Fred Goodwin got there first. Something like it. I'm riffing on it. Take it, Evan, use it. Good luck to you, and good luck to you on Comic Relief. I should just make it clear to people as well that they can listen again to the Stand Up with the Stars, which is again on the Listen Again feature on Radio 4, and then they can vote for Evan or one of the other 3 people.
Yeah, the other 3 were very good
as well. Yeah. And money that you make for the call does in fact go to Comic Relief, so it's well worth doing. Evan, we have to go to the legit news now, but thank you so much indeed for coming on. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much indeed. Evan Davis, come on.
Bye.
Jeannie Camosi, of course, from 1994, and here comes the hot step. Her real name's Cecil Campbell, just so you know. And Hara, what's a hot stepper?
Is it some sort of gym equipment for the home?
It's not. Although if you name something a hot stepper, use this tune in your adverts.
Absolutely.
Dragon's Den would-be's out there. All right? Okay? I'm just tossing these ideas off. I'm giving jokes to Evan Davis. I'm giving inventors ideas. I'm doing all sorts of Sammy, any ideas?
Walking like Top Cat.
What?
You know that walk Top Cat does?
I don't think I remember Top Cat's specific walk.
It's
That's immediately what comes to mind when you think of the word hot stepper.
It's that kind of, a little fob watch and a dandy walk. I'm just assimilating that with Top Cat.
Do you think Eni Kamosi's writing songs about? He's a busy man. He's not got time to watch cartoons.
Sport Billy had a funny walk.
Now you've lost me completely. You talk nothing but gobbledygook today. The only thing, I think it's because you're delirious, because you're losing your job.
You know,
You've just
it's
gone
a
off your
time
head.
to-
Are you having a nervous
Sport
breakdown?
Billy. But you don't remember Sport Billy?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's move on.
What is Sport Billy?
It was a really bad cartoon, but he walked very strangely. It was some kid who did a load of sport and saved the world.
Maybe it's really
Talking
helpful.
about? No one remembers this. This doesn't exist. Sport Billy. Yeah, but don't ask her. She's Australian. What the hell? I mean, what?
Look, I'll do some research.
Anyway, listen. I'll tell you what hot stepper is. Okay, a hot stepper is a man who's on the run. It's patois for a man on the run. All right, that's why you keep saying murderer.
Murderer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what
Why would
that's
he
what
keep
he's saying.
announcing that the hot stepper is on his way? Because that
what-
surely goes against what he's trying to achieve.
No, because he's going, here comes the man on the run, murderer. I don't know, actually, I'm not. But I'm presuming he can see him legging it towards him, and he's shouting like if someone's just nicked a handbag. Thief!
Oh, so
he's
he's-
going, murderer.
So he's informing the relevant authorities that someone's on their way.
There's one thing about Eni Kamosi is he plays by the rules. He's very legit. He is shouting out to any passing policeman, murderer. Okay, here comes the hot stepper, but he's doing it in that, you know, in rhythm.
Yeah, well, Sport Billy's from the planet Olympus, which is populated by athletic, godlike beings. Billy himself is a magic, size-changing gym bag, the Omni
This
Sack.
is the worst cartoon ever.
It was a 1979 cartoon made for broadcast in Germany, and we got it in the early 80s.
I've no idea what you're talking. I've
I
never
can't
heard of
believe
it.
you missed it.
Never heard it. It's rubbish.
You had a shocker.
Terrible idea. Harry, let's have a musical choice from you before you have your full breakdown.
My pick this week is a new track by the Black Lips. This is the first single, which is out tomorrow. It's called Short Fuse.
Thank you. We'll have singer-songwriter Rory Joseph in the hub after this. Harry's musical choice on this week's Steve Show. What was it, Harry?
Out tomorrow, it's Short Fuse by the Black Lips.
Thank you very much indeed. We'll have live music from Rory Joseph after this. BBC Six Music with me, Steve Merchant, and my gang of cronies, and we're very pleased to welcome in the hub Rory Joseph.
Very kind.
Thank you very much indeed, Rory, for coming in. It is something of a comic relief flavoured show.
Nice.
Have you ever done anything for charity ever?
I think I'm similar to Sammy, really. I sort of deal in jelly, mainly.
Really?
Just jelly.
You deal in jelly. You sell jelly. And
No, I haven't. I mean, at school, you know, the obvious thing of, you know, hey, check me out, I've got my shirt on back to front, but...
yes, still funny.
But yeah, it's very, very funny, but apart from that, no. I did a charity 10k walk with my daughter on my shoulders once.
Oh, that's very sweet.
That was alright, yeah.
Can I suggest a charity single, maybe at some point?
Okay.
You know, maybe
Well-
get together a super group. Yourself
I'll
and a number of
and just a few
singer-songwriters.
people, just,
Yeah, just get
Other
together.
people that
You
deal
know,
in jelly and
David Gray
Yeah.
on there. Try and get
other singer-songwriters.
Other
to sort of
singer-songwriters.
cement the
Right.
stereotype together. And we can-
Well, exactly, because normally there's the sort of big anthemic, you know, sort of Live 8 type stuff with
Yeah.
Bono and Chris Martin wailing away.
Yeah.
But it might be nice to have something a bit more locally and melancholy.
Okay. I'm up for it.
Sue me if
Very
it's a
much
bad
so.
idea,
If
sorry.
you've got any contacts that you can sort of put me in touch with, I'll do it.
Rob Brydon?
Perfect.
How about
Yeah.
Evan Davis, economics
I love
editor?
him. I love him. He's got a great voice.
Rory, before we talk to you further, I think it's worth us maybe just hearing a tune from you, if you don't mind, and
Okay,
that
sure.
gives people a flavour of what you're all about. So what are you going to play for us?
I'm going to play the current single. It's called Hope for Grey Trousers.
Great, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. He was a quiet soul, he was a lazy dude, he was a thinking man. He had a trophy wife from when he ruled the roost, but that was back in now. He used to play guitar in the local bar until his fingers bled. And now he plays alone on a driftwood porch where the cows are fed. And yes, my trousers are grey, but my heart stays gold till my dying day.